of the big question people are saying, like, I want to be ripped at 50. Like, what is the algorithm, the steps that you would suggest, or even to consider, getting the book and reading it and taking the actions? How do you meet someone like me? I mean, there's lots of people worse off than me, but bring me on a journey to being ripped and spiritually free.
More free, more free. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first thing that I have people do is really look in the mirror naked, literally and figuratively, like really get clear with who you are and what, your makeup is. And the ripped at 50 can be an illusion, but if you go on that journey, because most people, they want to be ripped like me, but they have a completely different metabolic constitution. And transforming your lifestyle, people think that I'm a gym rat. I haven't been to the gym, and I've been 4 times in 5 months. Coronavirus shut down Gold's Gym, so I've been there 4 times. I haven't even lifted weights in 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
My sleep and my nutrition and my stress management and, the 9 pillars that I teach, those things optimize my fitness. And so, Terrance, tell me what was the question again?
Well, you just said it, the 9 steps. I mean, what's the I teach people algorithms, formulas, steps, heuristics to get, everybody, we want to be amazing, but we want shortcuts as humans. We're just inclined to do that. But that, talk about the 9 steps. I mean, the first one, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror naked, I mean, that's what that's a good place to start.
We get clear mentally, and then we get that clear mental picture of who and what we want to be. Now, the path to it, and this is where people drop out, right? Your path to it is directly related to where you're at right now and where you want to be, and is directly related to the emotional weight, WEIGHT, to release, the time weight, WAIT, for the emotional weight that you're carrying with you, your ideas, your unforgiveness, your resentment, your need to be right, your need to be frustrated, your need to be angry at yourself because you can't lose the weight, or there are these needs. A lot of people that gain weight or steroids or whatever that protective barrier, lots of times they were abused by someone. Maybe it was sexually, and psychologically, it's like, I'll just become fat so nobody will want me, and I won't have to relive that trauma again. So there's some deep elements to go very deep to get to that penultimate human that you want to be. In the meantime, everybody can pay attention to their hydration. You should have clean water as a human being. The cleanest you can, optimize your water without going neurotic. Then you want to go to your nutrition. The food supply is contaminated. 70% of the American people are obese or overweight. So get very clear that your body requires the highest quality organic nutrition. Our grandparents used to call organic food, right? We just have industrial compounds now that and organophosphates and other herbicides like Roundup that are wreaking havoc in our gut microbiome. It's wreaking havoc in our nervous system, in our reproductive system. Sterility rates are at an all-time high. And so these things, these endocrine disruptors, these low-level poisons for the nervous system and endocrine system that take out other pests, right? Pesticides, what are pests? Weeds or bugs. And so look, my question to everyone out there watching this that thinks organic is too expensive, what is the long-term low-level exposure to these neurotoxins, to these endocrine toxins? Right? What does that do to your hormones? Ever heard of chronic fatigue, autoimmune that's all on the rise since, 40 years after introducing these things into the environment and the food supply? So going back to the basics, hydration, nutrition, movement as medicine. Movement is a necessity, not a luxury. And so the body requires to move. The pelvic floor, the transverse abdominis, and the diaphragm is the pump of the interstitial fluid. The purpose of exercise is to move the lymphatic fluids. And so a stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool. You want a disease? Become a couch potato. Eventually it will, bring on. So then what else do you have? Your breathing mechanics. Most people are mouth breathing. That's going to elevate cortisol. You're not going to get proper sleep, restoration. Like, look no further than your breathing mechanics. I have a whole online course called Breath is Life to optimize your own breathing mechanics, making sure that you're breathing from the dantian, from the lower centers, opening up the diaphragm. That will fuel your mind as well as your body, as far as nitric oxide and oxygenating the blood. And so optimize that. Then let's go check on your thoughts. What are your thoughts? How were you brought up? Was money scarce? Have you moved through any money blockages issue? Because this is an abundant world that we live in. Mm-hmm. And so what is it going to take to move through that? Deepak Chopra says something like, we have 90,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them we thought yesterday and they were negative. So where's your thoughts coming from? Now, I did a gratitude journal when I was going through my divorce. It was excellent, 1.5 years, steady. And I am so grateful for hell or high water, happy or sad. I'm just grateful to be alive and on this magical planet and feeling whatever pain I'm going through or joy. Yeah. And so the gratitude can set you free. The other thing with the thinking is really check your thoughts, check your programs. You got 12 years of industrial age school system inside of you. Here's a news flash. The industrial age is over with, right? Your university. Who funds those universities? Rockefeller Foundation, Pew National Trust. What are their investments in the Rand Corporation, the Tavistock Institute, fighting wars, justifying wars, owning media conglomerates? Like, what's really going on? They're funding all this pharmaceutical research. Pharmaceutical drugs are toxic to the human body. In fact, you just have to read your inserts to realize that. Who started the American Medical Association? Oh, Rockefeller Foundation. Who are the oil people? What is the number one thing that's holding humanity back? Well, oil is what I postulate, from the oil wars to the destruction of the rainforest. And then you've got the petrodollar that's pegged to that. Well, the Rockefellers are bankers too. And not that the Rockefellers are, we got to vilify them or anything. Like, a man knows what's on the horizon, what can eat him and what potentially is to eat, right? And so you want to be aware, and we've been so dumbed down that we don't question how the world works. So a good book to read is Confessions of an Economic Hitman if you want to understand geopolitics and how the way works. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about that. Just read my book and start paying attention to your thoughts, where you're programming, and then how do you deprogram the mind? Hypnosis, psychedelics, and meditation. So pick your poison.